and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to ICE, International Christian Entertainment Promotion Show. ICE now has set a new stage for the city of Memphis, a voice, a new voice, crying in the city of Memphis, crying in the wilderness, because we have a lot of issues involved right here in our city. Memphis, Tennessee is the city that I live in. It's a city that you live in. And we should not be afraid to come out of our doors and homes. Citizens of Memphis working hard, trying to have and live a decent life in the city of Memphis to provide for their families. But here today, once again, ICE is a voice crying in the wilderness. And we welcome you to ICE TV broadcast. And we ask you to tune in every Saturday from 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. right here on Comcast Channel 31. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the powerful city councilman right here sitting with me, City Councilman Harold Collins. Sir, we welcome you to ICE Studio today.
Thank you for having me.
You're so very welcome. I'm excited for you, sir, and just giving you this opportunity as we share, as I become a voice for the Christian community, because I am an evangelist of the gospel, okay, sir. And as we spoke earlier, I feel that more leaders and pastors should get involved with the political officials, such as yourself. But most importantly, we have a new format that's coming up in October 2015, the mayor election. And you are one of those candidates.
Yes, I am a candidate now for mayor of our great city. It is a privilege and an honor to offer myself to the citizens of Memphis and to offer a different direction and a different vision from one that we've had now for the last 6 years as the current city mayor, and the past 7 years when he was our county mayor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know not only with you on that ballot, I believe we have Jim Strickland and the other Mike Williams as well.
There are a host of others, as some would say, offering themselves as well. And I think it's going to be a good debate. I think that's what the citizens deserve. They deserve to have a debate about vision and ideas, and a debate about solutions.
Yes, sir.
And where Memphis needs to go to deal with some of the concerns that you just shared with your audience.
Exactly. I could go down a list. We're talking about domestic violence. We're talking about the crime rate at its highest point right now, Mr. Collins. Most of all, as I have talked with some of the citizens of Memphis that are even afraid now, and gun sales are high. And as you know, the youth outrage, the violence, the mob behavior, sir. But they want to know, Mr. Collins, if you are elected as our city mayor, coming up this election of 2015, what can you bring forth on that platform as mayor, sir?
Well, there was a lot of stuff that you put out there. First of all, as mayor of Memphis, I would refocus us on the Operation Safe Community Plan. I happen to serve on that board, and that plan called for police officers at a rate of 2,500. Today we sit less than 2,100 officers, and so we've had nearly 400 plus officers to resign or retire from their position due to the policies and the community, well, let's say the atmosphere in our city as it relates to employees. But that also calls for us to make sure that we have the proper fire and paramedic training as well, because we're losing these men and women at a rapid pace as well. Secondly, we would provide what we consider to be an active policing program, and that means the broken window theory. I am a proponent of that theory, whereby we go and we look at the small crimes first, the tail lights that are broken, the car tags that are expired, the uninsured motorists, the speeding that's going on, because these are the things that graduate to larger crimes. And if we don't stop them immediately, then they tend to graduate and get bigger and bigger.
Yes, sir.
With regards to what everybody seems to be talking about now is the mobs that our children are participating in. That's a two-pronged issue. The first prong of that is these children have a lack of hope. These children seem to believe that today, the day that they're facing, is the only day that they have available. And so therefore they're not preparing themselves for their future down the road, 5 or 10 years down the road. And they do this based on the community upon which they live, the situations that are at home, as you mentioned, domestic violence, growing up in an atmosphere or a community that's laced with violence or implied violence through video games, through the television shows that they see, the music that we listen to. All these things add up to putting these kinds of ideas into our children's mind. And then the other part to it is, as I said, a lack of hope, because they see no future for themselves. You tell a young person to go to school, get their high school diploma, potentially go on to college or university or a 2-year college or university, and they say, where am I going to get a job?
Yes.
Where am I going to get something to sustain my family? Because again, they're at home and mama or dad or both are working 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And they see no future in that.
Yes, sir.
And so how are you going to tell me to go get an education and better myself when I see my parents at home who have the same thing, struggling? And
Exactly.
so we as a mayor, as this mayor, will focus our energies on, one, recruiting high technological, finance, engineering jobs here, just like this mayor has recruited a lot of low wage earner jobs.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
Memphis has been defined by the major business community as a low wage, undereducated, underemployed community. But I submit to you that we are who we say we are, not what others say we are.
Exactly.
And as a leader, you have to make sure that you provide the kind of leadership that will recruit those same kinds of jobs and opportunities for our people to stay home.
Yes.
It saddens me when I go and speak to young people and I ask them, why are you leaving Memphis? And the first thing they say is, well, there's nothing here for us. We don't have jobs. Why would I go to college and endure all this college loans and endure all this time and sacrifice to get and earn a college degree and come home and work in a factory where I pull an order or pick an order or push an order?
Yes.
And that's not the kind of lifestyle we want for our children.
Exactly.
No one wants that. I mean, I understand there has to be a need for that, but there also has to be a coexistence of high-end manufacturing, technological, finance, and engineering jobs as well.
Exactly. And a lot of those jobs have left. And even as a well-known factor, a lot of companies bypass Memphis,
Right.
you know, because of the higher revenue of taxes that they have to endure, among other things. But they also look at the factors of the metropolitan city of Memphis. They take in a reference or consideration of the crime, the plight. That's something that some of the citizens would like to address with you, especially the people living in the Fraser area, South Memphis area, where I grew up, in the McLemore College area, you know, which they are renovating and building up that community, but still you see a lot of plight.
Right.
Councilman
That's
Harold
okay.
Collins, you know, eventually I guess it was.
Please do not wish that.
No, okay, I won't. But again, the citizens are concerned, and ICE is just being a voice with the questions that they have, Mr. Collins. And not only North Memphis area, you have other areas in the city of Memphis where people have just totally, it's like they have lost hope,
Right.
taking no pride in the city. dumping trash. You know, I see them going down I-40 driving, just no type of pride in the
Right.
city of Memphis.
Right.
How would you address those concerns?
First of all, let me say that I understand that sentiment. You know, as a little boy, I grew up at Trigg and Lauderdale.
Okay.
And when we were 13 years old, our home caught fire. And so Daddy had to pick us all up, and we moved to Westwood. And so we stayed in Westwood from 14 until I graduated from high school and in college until Mama and Daddy passed on. And so I understand about living in a community where it was prideful. And
Yes.
then all of a sudden, over a period of time, it became derelict. But I venture to say that's because of two things. One, there is no pride in our community anymore. There is no I believe in Memphis sentiment anymore.
Yes.
And that's why we have taken on the mantra or the motto of saying, I still believe in Memphis.
Yes.
Memphis has an enormous amount of assets or natural resources and man-made resources. We have the largest river in the country, the Mississippi.
Yes, we do.
We have the north, south, east, west interstate in 55 and 40. We have 4 Class A railroads where all of the major railroads run in and out of Memphis. Of course, we have the world runway and the second most busiest cargo airport in the world. We have the 3rd tallest air traffic control tower in the country, 5th tallest in the world. And so we have a lot of enormous assets. I failed to mention the inland port over at Pigeon Forge
Yes.
Island. That's the 2nd largest inland port in the country. So I venture to say that the companies who bypass Memphis, they bypass Memphis not because of our taxes, even though they use that against us.
Yes.
They bypass Memphis because of the position we sell ourselves as, a rough, uneducated, high-volume crime community. When you go to other parts of the country, you never hear other communities talk about themselves like they talk about Memphis.
Exactly.
You never see 18 minutes of violence on our newscasts in
Yes.
other cities like you see in Memphis. And so we are who we say we are, not what others define ourselves as. And I'm going to continue to say that. And as the mayor, you have to be the one to change that. You have to be the one to pull these people in and say, listen, you know, these are the great things about our city.
Yes.
And I submit to you that you should be promoting these things in your newscast, just like you promote the violence. And we all have
Exactly.
that. Philadelphia has crime. Nashville has crime. Dallas has crime. Atlanta has crime.
All the states
But
have
but
crimes,
but
yes.
in all these major urban cities. But guess what? You go to those cities, and that's not the first thing you see.
Yes.
That's not the first thing they talk about. They talk about how good the economics
Yes.
are in their city, how great the programs and the projects that are being built and carried out by the city is doing well. But here, you know, we have to fight through
Yes.
that mindset. And so as the mayor, I'm going to do that. Then the second part to this is the mayor has to be the primary recruiter of everything for our city. He sets the tone for, and we're experiencing great success with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes.
And I use that as an example. He sets the tone for the spirit in the city. If the mayor is excited about the Grizzlies, then everybody gets excited. If the mayor is excited about what's going on in our city, then we all are excited. If the mayor is concerned about keeping our city clean, then everybody
Yes,
will keep our
indeed.
city clean, and we will do things to make sure that that happens. I'm blessed enough to represent a community where we're always excited about my district and District 3. We're always excited about Whitehaven and Fox
Yes.
Meadows and Hickory Hill and Parkway Village, because I represent that community. So I'm going to always be excited about that. And that's what I want to take to the citizens of Memphis. You'll get a mayor who's going to be committed and work hard, going to emphasize our natural resources and our man-made resources. I'm going to focus on making sure that we are who we define ourselves
Exactly.
and not what others. And I'm also going to ensure that our young people have an opportunity to live and come back to our city by recruiting those finance, engineering, administrative jobs, technological jobs that they go to school for. And they want to come back, but there's nothing here for them.
Exactly, Mr. Collins. You said something that was a great statement. And biblically, as a leader in the Christian community, as an evangelist, the Word of God says, death and life is in the power of the tongue. And if the citizens of Memphis are speaking negative within our circle, I remember, Mr. Collins, when I worked at the National Civil Rights Museum, as a tour guide, and the visitors from outside, not only overseas, from other local states within the United States was coming, they will hear within some of those employees speaking negative about our city. And I try to voice it very positive. Memphis is a great city, but it takes unity, all of us. And that's your slogan for your upcoming, campaign. I still believe in Memphis.
Absolutely.
Mr. Collins, I still believe in Memphis. That's why I have you on ICE TV broadcast.
Well, thank you.
I love the slogan. I love what you are projecting with the riving up of your campaign. I still believe in Memphis. And I believe that's something that even if they do not choose you as the mayor, and I wish you all the success,
thank you.
But yet in planting in their hearts this great city of Memphis, there can be a change. That I still believe in Memphis. And if we could get people as a unity of community, and not only with the citizens, but the Christian leaders, to come together and to connect with the political officers such as yourself, this still can be a great city for people to attract those businesses, as you were speaking of.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We all, growing up, I guess, and after, were astonished, and we revered Dr. King. And Dr. King, in my opinion, was the consummate clergyman and advocate for his community. He understood that there had to be some separation from the clergy and the religious spiritual community, but he also knew that there was a direct connection between the prosperity of the people and the religious community.
Yes.
And so when I speak to pastors and people of faith, I challenge them to say, you all have a greater responsibility to, number one, inform your people of their plight and what might be best for them. Some call that the keeper of their souls.
Yes.
And so it's important that the spiritual community evaluate leadership and then make a determination on which would be the best place and person to represent the people. Somewhere it reads, you render unto Caesar, and you render unto God,
That's
God.
Scripture. Yes, sir.
And so the meaning of that is you do what you're supposed to do under Caesar.
Yes.
But knowing and recognizing that the ultimate authority is God. And so as clergy, men and women, it, in my opinion, is responsibility to educate and to provide direction.
Yes.
It says to study and to show yourself approved. That's not only just in the biblical term, but it also means to study each person's credentials, each person's actions,
Yes.
what they have said and what they have done, and then make an informed decision.
Exactly.
And that's what we propose to do. We propose to demonstrate, here's what we've done over an 8-year period representing our district. And we believe we've done an outstanding job. And then say, this is what we want to do for entire Memphis. if you give us that opportunity, you'll see a difference right away in how things will get done in our city and what our city will look like under Harold Collins' administration.
Wonderful, Mr. Collins. I oftentimes how I was led by the Spirit of God to get more involved with the political officers as yourself, with the city of Memphis community, because Daniel in the book of in the Bible, he was in government. Joseph was a leader in government. And when the Spirit of God spoke that to me, he said, Barbara, there's your answer. There really is no separation with the church and the state, the city of, of Memphis. So you become a voice. You make the challenge to other leaders and pastors of the Christian faith to come out of your churches. You're supposed to be a church without walls and get involved with your communities. When I see big, elaborate churches and you go 2 blocks around the corner, Mr. Collins, and you see all the plight, you see the trash, and as a minister of the gospel, I have to tell the truth. And all your tithes and offerings is coming into the church, but yet you neglecting your own community. Something is wrong with that, Mr. Collins.
Well, I think that at the end of the day, we'll all be judged on our actions and what we've done to the least of these. And so I recognize that this is not a overnight sensation, switch, and resolution.
Definitely.
People have to be educated and trained. What we want to do is give people facts. We want to give people information. And we want to help them make an informed decision. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that if you give people true, timely, and factual information, they will make an informed decision. And so that's going to be our challenge. That's what we're going to talk about, and that's how we're going to go about running this race until October the 8th. And we're going to do what we think is best for the people of our city and not for us as individuals. And so that's how we're going to do things, and that's why we're willing to speak to you and to your viewers on this show, and we'll go to wherever we think we need to go to communicate that message.
Yes, sir.
And we will do that, and we will hold each other accountable.
Most definitely.
I've tell people all the time, and again, in my district where I'm lucky to serve, they hold me accountable.
Yes, sir.
They want to know what we're doing. They want to know how we're doing it. They want to know when can they expect things to happen. And we try to provide those answers. And if we can't provide them, we don't make up anything. We say we can't do it, and we'll come back and we'll figure something out. But I just believe that that's how you treat people. You give them that information, because outside of it, they'll make it up for themselves.
Most definitely.
And that's not leadership.
That is
Leadership
true.
is providing people the information they need when they need to have it to do what they need to do.
Yes. Integrity, Mr. Collins. Well, there you are, ICE audience. Mr. Harold Collins have set the scene for his platform for the mayor election coming up October of 2015. I still believe in Memphis, and certainly, Mr. Collins, I do too. Thank you so very much for being on the broadcast today.
Thank you so much.
I wish you all the success. And if ICE TV broadcast can do anything to assist you, sir, please contact us, okay?
Absolutely, we will.
But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for next week. More of ICE, International Christian Entertainment, right here on Comcast Channel 31 from 1 o'clock p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. God bless.